Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Staffing Sharks Review It. Right off the bat, I'm going to have to say it real quick before I introduce my guest. 4 more days, staffing world. Man, are we excited. But I'm here with a great guest today, Marcel from MJA Associates. What's up, my man?
How you doing, Richard? Hello, everybody.
Good, buddy. Good. And then tell you what, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Are you excited for staffing world or what?
I sure am. It's been a while now. I'm really excited for Staffing World. Looking forward to connecting with some friends and clients, and I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Can you believe it's already been 24 months since the last one? I mean, that's that long.
It's been a while. I'm definitely excited. Looking forward to it.
Exactly. Well, we're going to just deep dive into what you have to offer. And it's something that's so important to all staffing firms and recruitment firms out there, WOTC tax credits. I think, Marcel, tell us a little bit about yourself first, and let's just deep dive into your company, my man.
Sounds good. Well, I'm Marcel Montedato, president of MJA Associates, and we've been in business for about 19 years now. We help staffing companies with business tax incentives, primarily the work opportunity tax credits, the empowerment zone employment credits, and then various state credits that piggyback off of WOTC. We also got involved with the employee retention credit that was created last year because of COVID. So that's been a refundable tax credit that's been very popular this year. But our core business has been the work opportunity tax credits, and we're approaching almost 20 years of doing this now. And we're heavily involved in staffing. We work with over 400 staffing companies across the country. I'm on the board of California Staffing Professionals and involved with ASA and several other staffing associations throughout the country.
You're everywhere. So let's just break it down. WOTC credits, can you explain it to us?
Absolutely. So WOTC stands for Work Opportunity Tax Credit, and this program has been around for over 25 years now. And the program was designed by the government to help individuals that are facing barriers with finding employment. So they give companies a tax credit for hiring individuals from certain demographics and certain target groups. In staffing, we're seeing a lot of success with staffing firms hiring military veterans, as they hire the servicemen and servicewomen that transition from the military into the workforce. That's one of the popular groups. There's also food stamp recipients, which is a large category because there's over 40 million Americans receiving food stamps. So if they hire someone coming off of food stamps, there's tax credits for that as well. And then recently, in light of COVID, we're seeing a big increase in long-term unemployed. So if somebody hires somebody that was unemployed for 27 weeks or longer, there's a tax credit for that as well. But these tax credits are substantial. They range anywhere from $2,400 all the way up to $9,600 for each qualified employee. So based upon a company's volume and their turnover, you can imagine if you're hiring hundreds of people throughout the year because of turnover, and you're averaging a couple thousand per employee, it's significant. It really is one of the easiest ways to increase your profit.
Man, that is good stuff. So it's like every staffing firm or recruiting firm should be tapping into this program. Am I right?
Absolutely. There's no reason you shouldn't be participating in this program because more than likely you're going to hire individuals from these target groups anyway. So you're just missing out on these tax credits if you're not taking advantage of it. It's just a great program that's going to increase your profits, increase your profits, and even long-term, the tax credits are valid for up to 20 years. So that's huge. So lots of flexibility. Not only is it going to offset your tax liability for the current year, but there's a carry forward for up to 20 years with this tax credit.
Good stuff. So break it down to me. So like, say I never dealt with this before this program. Do you come out to me? Do you do an analysis on the phone, or what do you do to break it down to like somebody has never dealt with this before?
We make the process extremely simple. It's an efficient process. We've been doing this for almost 20 years, so we really built a process that's been very efficient. We have integrations in place with several staffing software companies. So what we do, first of all, is we mirror our client's application process. So it's paper-based for certain demographics, there's paper forms, but the majority of the clients are using some type of electronic software. It's going to be an ATS onboarding platform. So we have integrations in place. So the company's not going to change their hiring practices. They're going to continue to source their own candidates, hire their own employees, and send their clients the most qualified individuals. But there's a couple forms that are included during that onboarding process that gets completed when they hire a new employee. Those 2 forms are completed online. The employee signs the form electronically. They hit submit, and those applications flow directly into our database. And then our processing team moves forward and does the processing with those applications. So it's really simple for a company to get to utilize this program because it's really built into their application process or their onboarding process. Typically, any company that's going to be hiring anywhere from minimum wage to about $20 per hour, that seems to be the sweet spot where we see most of the employees qualify. But since COVID, that's really changed. Now we're seeing employees from all pay rates, all industries are now becoming eligible because of that long-term unemployed. But it is really simple to start.
So since COVID, there's more incentives to have tax credits now. Am I right? Like on stuff like that?
There's a larger number of employees that are qualifying. So we're seeing the percentage of employees that are eligible for WOTC increase. Typically, food stamp recipients go hand in hand with the unemployment compensation. If somebody applied for unemployment compensation, more than likely they also apply for food stamps. Even if it's on a temporary basis, they might be receiving food stamps for a 3 to 5 month period while they're on unemployment. So if they don't qualify for food stamps, they might qualify for the long-term unemployed. So within the WOTC program, there's 10 different ways, 10 categories on how they can qualify, but more than likely they're going to qualify for food stamps or long-term unemployment today because of today's job market.
Now, working with the WOTC program before, is there a threshold on how many hours and credits do you have before you get the credit?
There is. So to qualify, the employee has to work a minimum of 120 hours.
Okay.
And you have 1 full year to see how many hours they're retained with your company. So there's a couple thresholds that the employee should reach. If they fall short of 120 hours, they don't earn any credits at that point. But once they are retained for 120 hours or more, the company earns 25% of the gross wages back in tax credits.
Man.
And then that second level is if they're retained for 400 hours or more, it jumps up to 40% of the gross wages. And what's nice in particular to staffing is that it doesn't have to be consecutive hours. You have 1 full year from each person's start date. So for a staffing company, if somebody goes out to work for a 2-week assignment and they successfully complete that, they might be sent out to work again 3 or 4 months later. The clock's still going to continue to accumulate all those hours for their first year of employment. So once they hit that 400-hour mark, they're going to earn the most credits at a 40% threshold.
That's incredible. And in a year span, 400 hours, you could knock that down in any time.
Exactly. And even at a minimum, you're only looking at 3 weeks of employment over the course of a year to start earning credits when they reach that 120-hour mark. So that goes by in no time.
This is a program that everybody needs to, jump aboard.
Absolutely. It's a great program. And it's thousands of dollars that's left on the table if companies aren't taking advantage of it.
Now, what companies qualify? Pretty much everybody in the United States, and correct me or not, is Canada involved in this too?
So it is a federal tax credit. It has to be a U.S.-based company that pays federal income taxes here in the United States. So the tax credit is going to offset their federal income taxes. So it is a dollar-for-dollar match against their federal income taxes. They do have to be U.S.-based and paying income taxes here in the U.S. So, but what's nice is that it is a federal program, so the same guidelines apply in every state. So it doesn't matter what state these staffing companies are doing business in. If they're in multiple states, it's the same guidelines in every state.
Man, good stuff to learn. And so tell me, there's more that you guys do besides just WOTC tax credits.
We do. In addition to the WOTC tax credits, we also do the Empowerment Zone Employment Credit, which is zone-based. There's tax credits for companies that do business in designated empowerment zones. These are distressed areas that the government has labeled as distressed areas that they're trying to rebuild the community, and they're trying to attract employers and create new jobs in these communities. So if a company hires an employee that lives and works in these empowerment zones, there's a $3,000 tax credit for that. In addition to that, we do multiple state tax incentives. For example, in the state of New York, there's a New York Youth Jobs Tax Credit. Kentucky has a Kentucky Unemployment Tax Credit. So many of the states will have some type of state tax credit that's going to piggyback off the WOTC program completely, or maybe some categories that are tied into WOTC. So we also do those state credits as well. And then this past year and a half, we got involved with the CARES Act, which includes there's paid sick leave credits and the employee retention credit. And the employee retention credit has been very popular because this is a refundable tax credit. And we're seeing a lot of success and helping a lot of companies with that program as well.
Man, all I can say again is good stuff. So now let's talk about staffing world. You're going to be a vendor there. It's exciting. It's in 4 days. I got to say it again, 4 days. So what's going on at your booth at, what is it, 311, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're really excited about Staffing World. We're going to be in booth 311. We've been supporting ASA for several years now, so I'm really excited to going back and seeing everybody at the event. At our booth, we're going to be having information about these federal tax credits like the WOTC program, some of the zone credits, and I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of questions about the employee retention credits because that's a hot topic right now through the CARES Act in response to COVID. So anyone that has any questions or if they just want to learn more about any of these tax incentives, we'll be happy to answer any questions and give you more information.
That's good stuff. Now the Employee CARES Act, you said. Can you go a little bit more into detail about that? Because this is something that's new for everybody out there.
It is. So the employee retention credit was created because it was a response to COVID. So this is a refundable tax credit available to companies, and they have to meet one of two tests. For 2021, they had to see a significant decline in their gross receipts. So if their gross receipts were down by 20% or more in comparison to the exact same quarter in 2019, then they would qualify for the gross receipts test. The second way to qualify is if they had a partial or full suspension of operations. So there's a number of things because every company was impacted differently from COVID. Maybe they had to shut down their offices, reduce their operating hours. There's a number of factors that can qualify for that partial suspension of operations. So those are the two methods of qualifying, either the reduction in gross receipts or a partial suspension of operations. But the tax credit for the employee retention credit is 70%. 70% of the gross wages, of the qualified gross wages, are refundable back to the company that's eligible. And it is measured and it's tested out on a quarter-by-quarter basis. You can go back all the way to Q1 of 2020 to see which quarters qualify. So it is quite possible that a company can come in and out of eligibility. They might be eligible for one quarter, the next quarter they rebound and recover and they come out, and then later on in the year or the fall in 2021, they could have fell back into eligibility. So, but essentially it is a 70% refundable tax credit if they meet one of those two tests.
Man, that's going to be a hot topic at Staffing World. You for sure is right on that, man. That's going to be something we're going to be talking about for days to come.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I got to ask you that on a side note, what's your favorite part about going to Staffing World, man, besides the events? What's Marcel looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to connecting with friends. I've been in business for about 20 years now. I've been in the industry for almost 30 years now. So
30 years. You don't look that old, man.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So it's been almost 30 years I've been in staffing now, and then started at MJA almost over 19 years ago now. So over those years, I made a lot of friends, colleagues, other vendors, clients. So really looking forward just to reconnecting with everybody. I have a lot of friends out there that I've met over the years, and it's gonna be nice to come back together again and see them in person.
It is. I don't know what I do first. Give everybody a hug or a fist pump or whatever, but we're gonna have so much fun. Hey, I want to thank you again for coming on my show at last minute here to get this done here before we head off in Denver next week. But it's a great program. Everybody out there, check out the booth. 311 MJA and Associates, WOTC tax credits, and more. We got so many new programs now. Just talk to him, Marcel, and he was going to guide you in the right direction. You don't have to do anything else. Just let him take care of everything, right?
Exactly. We'll definitely help you out.
Sounds good. Well, hey, man, thank you again. And, hey, I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday next week, buddy, at Staffing World.
Sounds good. Thank you, Richard. Take care. Thank you, everybody.
Good time, brother.
All right. Take care.